Hello, welcome back. As today we're going to address a super fascinating question that explains for why a person is taller in the morning and shorter in the evening. What explains for this that variation in a body height. Let's figure together, and here we go. Today we're talking about height of a person, and just to mention a few that the height of the person is being contributed by a lot of bones, but our main interest today is the backbone here, which is also called the vertebral column. The backbone or the vertebral column, which contributes about 40% of our body height. It contributes about 40% of our body height and is responsible for the change discrepancy in height of a person over the course of a day. So let's take a look about this vertebral column here. So the vertebral column is made up of bones and disc, the so-called the intervertebral disc. So it is formed by the vertebral bones and the intervertebral disc. As we have said, like 40% of our body height is being contributed by the vertebral column, the vertebral column. So if I say let's do some mathematics around here, like let it should be the height of the body, and so the vertebral height or the height of the vertebral column will be 40% of the height of the body, which will result into 0.4 times the height of the body. But as I've said, like the vertebral column is being made by the bones, and we have some cartilages around which we call them the intervertebral disc. So what are these intervertebral discs? Let's take a closer look at it. So the intervertebral disc, they are something elastic, which means they obey into compression and decompression cycle. So they are compressed and decompressed. But the intervertebral disc, they contribute about 25% of the height of the body, of the height of the vertebral column. Sorry. So they contribute about 25% of the height of the vertebral column. This is to say, if I'm chopping out this intervertebral disc, I'm going to affect the height of the vertebral column by 25%. And remember the calculation that we've initiated in the previous slide, like the height of the vertebral column equals to 0.4 times the height of the body. But we are now saying like 25% of the height of the vertebral column is being contributed by the intervertebral disc. So what is the contribution of the intervertebral disc? So we are taking 25% of 0.4 times height of a person. So this is to say the vertebral column, the vertebral disc, they contribute about 0.1 times the height of the body. So this is to say like 10%, which is not that minimal. So this is to say again, now if I'm chopping out this disc, from the intervertebral column, from the vertebral column, means I'm going to affect the height of the body by 10%. I'm going to reduce the height of the person by 10% if I'm removing all the intervertebral disc. Roughly 10% of the body height is gone. So for example, me, I am 172 centimeter tall, which means if I'm chopping out this intervertebral disc from my backbone, I will lose 17.2 centimeter of my height. So my height will be gone by 17.2 centimeters. What does it mean? Well, because I've told you, like these intervertebral discs, they obey into compression decompression cycle, which means that when they are elastic in nature, so when someone applies a vertical compression on the vertebral bodies, they will compress this intervertebral disc. So once they are compressed, they become dehydrated because they contain some amount of water. So once they are compressed, they become dehydrated. So when they are dehydrated, they become even thinner, and so the height of the vertebral column will not be the same, and so does the height of the body. So the compression of the vertebral bodies will result into compression of the intervertebral discs, which results into dehydration of this disc, and so they become thin. And once they are thin, means the height of the body will never be the same. Why? Because I will lose maybe not not 10% of the body height, because I haven't lost all of the vertebral bodies, but maybe 5% will be gone, or maybe 3%. And once 3% is gone, means the height of the body will never be the same. Eh? So what are the sort of like activities that will attend to compression of this intervertebral disc? Number one is just sitting. So sitting, walking, as you're walking from morning to the evening, you are putting pressure. You're putting pressure on the intervertebral disc, and so that's the they become dehydrated. So you can see, like, just a sitting, a normal sitting or walking resulting to compression. What about activities like weightlifting? So they also contribute to this uh, compression, and maybe because of the weight they are lifting, maybe the compression is much more than the person who is just walking. So the air compression is much significant, and so does the discrepancy in height of these people is much appreciated than just normal activities, just normal occupational activities. And so now, when you go back to the bed in the evening, means when you lay down in the evening, um, you are decompressing these the vertebral bodies. I mean, you are moving that vertical force that was compressing the vertebral column. And so what happens is they become decompressed and rehydrate back the water that they lost while they were compressed. So what happens is, over the night there occurs rehydration of these intervertebral discs, so they gain back the water that they lost. And then when you woke up in the morning, they are fully recovered. They have regained their shape, like, for once and for all. And once you go waking up in the morning, you are you have your original height as before. So this was secret behind the diurnal change in body height. And if you found this video helpful or interesting, don't forget to subscribe for more contents like this, and see you next time.